able to attend. Okay, so let's get into our Yammer presentation. So Yammer was a third-party company that was recently purchased by Microsoft. In essence, what Yammer is an enterprise social network. Why is that important? Well, what you hopefully will be appreciating now is that mobile technology is just exploding. You know, there's far more mobile devices than there are desktop PCs. This is still growing at an astronomical rate. So as you can see from the figures there, you're looking at 800 million plus users of Facebook. Again, they're connecting all the time, especially on their devices. They're updating their status. They're interacting with social networks. They're doing this every day. Again, you've got 300 million Twitter users. There's a billion tweets every 4 days. And again, as you can see, there are more mobile devices than there are PCs shipped. So again, if you look at the current trend with PCs, you generally see that they're static and potentially declining, whereas mobile penetration is continuing to increase. And again, consider that in the light of the fact that many people here in Australia probably have more than one mobile device. They may even have more than one phone. I myself have, a Windows phone, an iPad, Android device, Microsoft Surface. So again, there are a lot of mobile devices floating around. Now extend that out to countries like India, China, Indonesia, Brazil that don't necessarily have that full penetration yet, and you can probably see where the mobile market is going. And closely tied to that mobile marketing is the idea of social networking. So, I mean, even within a business, social networking is part of your business. We're human beings. We still need to be social. And again, if you're inside a business, you'll probably hear that these are a lot of common questions. So, who can help me with this project? Who's handling this account? Does anyone have experience with? These are very, very common questions that you see over and over and over again within a business. And again, they don't require a huge amount of information, but they can be very critical to somebody's job, and a lot of them, again, go unanswered or are repeated on a regular basis. So again, some very common questions within most businesses. So again, the idea here is that's where Yammer fits in. So importantly, Yammer is a private and secure enterprise social network. Okay, so it's designed to connect your employees together so they can collaborate and coordinate in a social media environment. So you can see from the screen there, it looks very much like Facebook. It's based on feeds, so people can post questions, you can get feedback. Again, you can track and follow people. So again, think of the social networking that you're probably using now, but roll that into the enterprise. So the important thing with the enterprise is that obviously it's secure, it's controlled, and again, it has the auditability. So Yammer, again, allows it to be real-time, it's social, works on mobile devices, and again, supports the ability to be searched easily. Now, why did Microsoft buy Yammer? So Yammer is going to be integrated into Office 365. In fact, it's actually available on some of the higher plans already. So what you can do today, if you want, is you can go out and you can sign up at yammer.com and you can have a standalone Yammer account. So then you can also integrate Yammer with SharePoint Online. So part of Office 365 is SharePoint Online. Okay. And then if you want, you can get the full Office 365 suite and incorporate that into Yammer. So if you've just got SharePoint Online, you can certainly integrate Yammer. If you've got Office 365, you're going to be able to also get access to Yammer. So let's have a look at Yammer. So again, this is a screenshot here. What you can see is this is the Yammer that's integrated into Office 365. So if you're familiar with the newsfeed area in your SharePoint Online, you'll see obviously there's the picture, but now this newsfeed gets replaced by Yammer feed. So again, in Yammer, we've got people having discussions, we've got comments, we've got feedback. You can embed files, you can, again, do a poll, you can do all sorts of things in here. So again, this is what the Yammer will look like once it's available across all Office 365 plans. So at the moment, this is currently not available for all plans, but we will get to that stage. So again, an important thing about Yammer is that you'll be able, as my understanding, is that you'll be able to have Yammer conversations about all components within Office 365. So in the example here you see on screen, what we've got is we have a PowerPoint presentation, and then over on the right hand side you can see that we're now having a Yammer conversation, a social interaction around this document. So again, we can now have a document, we can now have contextual conversations rather than sending the document as an attachment backwards and forwards between multiple people. So again, this allows you to maybe appreciate that Yammer will be integrated deep within SharePoint. It's not just going to be a social layer over the top to replace what's already there in SharePoint. It's actually only going to be integrated much deeper down to individual components. So you could have a Yammer conversation about an appointment in a calendar. You could have a Yammer conversation, again, like I said, about a file. Again, it provides a lot of power. So it's capturing a lot of that social information that most organizations now maybe have in email or is not taking place at all. So again, importantly, what we can do in this slide, you'll see that we actually have embedded some Yammer documents into the stream. So in a lot of cases, we need to have collaboration and discussions around documents. So again, we can embed those directly into the Yammer stream. We have people who are following that stream. They can comment, open, work on those documents and post them back to the screen. So again, think of a lot of the way that you probably converse now on email. If you're bouncing proposals or something backwards or attachments back between each other or two parties, it'd be much easier to do it within a secure network and still have all the abilities to do comments and updates on those files quickly and easily. So I would encourage you, no cost to you, you can go to www.yammer.com and you can create a new login. All right, so you can sign up for Yammer today. There's no cost for that. You will then be put into or create your own Yammer network. So again, all it needs is an email and a password to sign in. Once you've signed in, you can then obviously edit your account. You'll find that in the top right-hand corner. Obviously, you should put in all your information, your job, department, location in there, so it has all that relevant information. Obviously, update the About You, and again, you can download a contact card which you can send to other people. So again, you can go in there and you can select your account and look at the notifications. So Yammer allows you to interact via a web page. It allows you to interact via a mobile app. It also allows you to interact via email. So you can elect to have notifications sent to you from the groups that you interact with in Yammer. So if you want to, when someone posts something to Yammer, you can have an immediate email sent to you to let you know that something's changed. So again, it's a bit like a SharePoint alert. If you so choose, you can have that information sent to your email. But importantly, you've got control of how often that happens and which groups that you participate in can do that. Okay, so again, if you want, you can choose to receive a daily or a weekly digest. You can uncheck the email notifications that you may not wish to receive, different levels and things like that. Again, you can select a group and you can select the notification. So within Yammer, you can join a number of different groups, and that's what I'll show you shortly. And in there, you can then elect as to how often those groups are alerted to things like your email. So quite easy to do that. Okay, so again, basically what you'll see in Yammer is it's very much like a Facebook style feed. Again, you get information about what the topic is, the top conversations. In the top left-hand, right-hand corner, you've got a gear. So again, you can select your preferences as to how the view is displayed, and you can choose to select individual people, groups, and topics. So again, the idea with the social stuff is that everything may not interest you, or you may be interested in something very specific. So what you can do is obviously select to follow those items uniquely. And again, importantly, the most powerful thing about a lot of this stuff for us organizations is the fact that it's searchable. So all this information, this IP that's being within a company that can now be captured as social interactions, can now be recorded, and importantly, can now be searched. So 3 months down the track, if you're looking to find a conversation about how something went with a customer or what a resolution was, you can't find it in your email perhaps. If it's been discussed on Yammer, then you can run a search across your organization. Now, again, think of this in the context of SharePoint. So again, if all this information is going into a SharePoint site, you'll be able to run a normal SharePoint search, which will find, results for files, calendars, contacts, but we'll also find results through Yammer. So again, SharePoint's a very, very powerful tool because it gives you that internal search, which a lot of businesses currently don't have any solution for. The important thing with Yammer is especially the free account that you can set up for yourself, you can join any number of groups that are already out there. So I'll show you some examples of the groups or the networks that I'm currently involved with. You can do a search for those groups. You can add additional groups. You can contribute. You can do all sorts of things. So there's already a huge amount of groups that are in there based around certain topics. So again, really encourage you to find an interest group like any social media, stick with it, and obviously contribute. Again, it's easy to join groups. You just search for a group and then you just join it. You may then have to be approved. If you want, you can obviously create your own group. So I've gone in and I've created a number of my own groups, invited people into that to contribute, and that works quite well. So if you want, you can set up a free Yammer account, set up a number of free Yammer networks, and invite people in to start contributing to those groups. So again, part of the power of social is to follow key people. So you may choose to follow a colleague, you can follow a manager, or you could follow some other senior leadership individual. So again, what you can do is you can target the people who you find most relevant, who give you the best information, and through an enterprise tool like Yammer, you can then start following those individuals to make sure that you're kept up to date with what they're doing and the information they're providing. So again, it's as simple as locating the person in Yammer and then pressing the follow button. So very much like most other consumer grade social networks. Most importantly, with any social network, as I noted initially, is what you need to appreciate is we really need to have this stuff available on our mobile devices. So Yammer has a client for iPad, a Windows Phone, iPhone, BlackBerry, the desktop, Android. They're all excellent. They all work really well. They're all synchronized and up to date. And I'll give you a quick look at the ones on the desktop. Okay, so 10 features of Yammer that you should be using. Again, you can start a conversation, ask a question. When you do so, you can add people. So you can say, so-and-so, how about this, or what's happening here. You can also mention others with an at mention. So basically, rather than targeting that individual, you can say, oh, I heard that so-and-so did this, or this person did a good job here. So again, you have a conversation that you can start, and you can obviously notify people. If you put a plus, they will receive notification that they have been tagged in a conversation, and you can also mention people as well. Importantly, if you start a conversation in social, you should also be joining conversations, listening to what other people are saying. Much like other social networks, you can like a conversation, which helps it bubble up in relevance for others. You can reply by simply typing in the text down the bottom, and if you want, you can share that conversation with other people. Again, you can post all different sorts of messages. So what you can do is obviously a text message. You can add documents. You can actually post a poll. If you want, you can make an announcement. Again, the announcements are mainly aimed at administrators, but again, if you've got an organization that maybe needs to do that, rather than blasting an email out to everybody and say, I didn't get that, or it ends up at the bottom of their inbox and they never see it, again, you can add that to Yammer and give it different importance. You'll see that I've also got the ability to do a poll, and I can praise people as well as include events. So again, very handy. You can send a private message. So again, you've got all this social stuff that's public, but if you want, you can send private messages to individuals. So again, a bit like email in some cases. You can pick a topic that you want to follow. So maybe you want to follow something like Yammer or SharePoint or something within your business that you find relevant. Again, you can follow that topic and you will receive information that may be outside your immediate sphere on that topic within your Yammer. Easily add files and folders. So again, it's very easy simply to add a file via the paperclip, add a note straight into a Yammer conversation. So again, rather than sending an attachment backwards and forwards over email, bouncing it back, having multiple copies, have a single point of reference for that file, and then allow others to collaborate with that file directly in a Yammer conversation. Again, you can see that Yammer allows you to collaborate on the document. Again, rather than just sharing it, you can actually open it up and you can add more social interaction around that document. And this is going to be the part that's most exciting, I think, about it coming to Office 365 and SharePoint Online. You're going to be able to have these conversations in and around individual items within SharePoint, which is going to allow it probably to have a huge amount more relevance. And it's probably also going to mean that there's going to be far less dependence on email, because emails end up siloing the information rather than sharing it. So again, very much focused on collaboration and very much focused on the way that people need to work and are working these days. And again, you can start a conversation. You can actually chat with people live if they're currently logged in to a Yammer client. You can chat with them live online in a private IM window. So again, very powerful option already built into Yammer and all its clients. So you can have a conversation through a normal stream. If they're online, you can chat with them directly. So again, you can look at things like the activity. So you can have a look at, how busy people are, how much they post, how many things are mentioned, for example, about SharePoint or maybe Salesforce. Again, it allows you to track relevant information and stuff that is changing on a regular basis. So again, it bubbles up the information that is important, relevant, and being discussed as with any sort of typical, social importance around these sort of topics. And again, we can obviously pin these groups and networks onto Yammer, so that makes it easy for us to get access to that information. So let me just quickly swap across to my screen so we can now have a look at Yammer. Like I said, what you can do is go to yammer.com. You can create your own account. No cost to do that. You can set up your own Yammer network. You can then invite people into your Yammer network, or you can join other groups and start participating with them. So hopefully you can now see my screen, and what you'll see is I've opened a browser here. I've gone and logged into Yammer. At the top level, this is the CIAOPS network. On the left-hand side, what you'll notice is I have joined or created a number of other networks. So for example, if I go and have a look at the Office 365 IUG group, you'll notice that we have a stream down the middle. And here was a question posed by somebody. Again, so Alan said, with the ability to extend SkyDrive Pro, he had an issue around his file size. So then basically what happened is that I could go in and firstly post a response. I can include a link, and then as you can see, it then opens that link and allows me to potentially go to that page or share it. So again, you'll see that standard stream of people asking questions, getting answers, and I can simply, type in an answer or reply or contribute online there. You'll see that over on the right hand side here, I have the people who are online now. So for example, Alan is online. I could open a conversation and have an instant message chat with him directly as well outside any of this. So again, I've got suggestions up here of people that I should follow. So if I just choose to follow them, I will see all their information of what they're doing. I can create a new update as I'm doing up the top, add a document, post a poll, and as we noted here, praise somebody or post an event. Up the top here, you can see my inbox. So this will give me information about what's happened. So, and then obviously, Sean's thanked me for my input. Again, I receive, notification that he has addressed me directly. So again, easy enough to create as many networks as you want. If I want to browse a network, so simply press browse. Press browse groups. What's coming up? View existing groups is what I want. Sorry about that. As you can see here, these are the groups, but if I go to my suggested groups, we could, for example, maybe go in here and type SharePoint, and it would then run a search. I probably need to be back up at the top level to do that. So let me go back up to my top network here, my home network. And let me just browse my groups. That's a bit better. So again, I can then go in here and say, you know what, I'm interested in operations. And again, I could create an internal group. I could create an external group, an open or closed group that I can then share with people. So open to any members, or I have to invite members. So again, very easy to work with, very easy to create your own network. So importantly in all of this, remember that you can then create your own group and think about how this will be integrated into SharePoint. So again, this will be built directly into SharePoint and allow you to create groups. So for example, what we've got here is we have a look at this group here, so an ANZ MVP. You'll see that underneath that group I have a group that's specifically discussing TechEd 2013 and TechEd New Zealand 2013. So again, I've got a all ANZ MVP group or network at the top. Underneath, I can create any amount of subgroups that I want. So again, very handy, very easy to use. If you've used social networking, I don't think you'll have any issues with that. People who haven't used it, who perhaps aren't into the social networking side of it, I don't think that that's a major problem. I think they would pick this up pretty quickly and would see all the benefits. So I give you an idea of what Yammer is on the web. So let me just bring up the web. So this is the desktop client, which I hope you can see. Let me just minimize that. So now you can see that this is an application that's for my desktop, for a Windows desktop, and I can swap between all my different networks up here, and you'll see that I have the conversations, I have the ability to post, I have the ability to attach files, to send messages, to follow people, to get alerts, to basically have all the same functions that I have on the web client. So again, you'll find that Yammer is very good in the fact that it has applications for basically every platform, Mac, PC, all the mobile devices. So really fantastic, really fantastic utility. And given the growth of social within our market, I think that it's a very smart step by Microsoft to look at getting into Yammer, purchasing it, building it into SharePoint, and I don't think there are a lot of platforms that would allow you to have a integrated, private, enterprise-grade social network within the organization. So yeah, I think it's fantastic. So what I'll now do is let me just